Magandang buhay! Welcome again to our new topic here in General Mathematics. We will talk about evaluation of functions. Our target for this topic is first to recall the substitution of values in variables, and the next one is to evaluate functions. So based from our previous video lesson, we learned about that the function is a relation in which each element in the domain is paired with exactly one element in the range. Or in short, the values of x or the values in the domain shouldn't be repeated as it is being paired up in the elements in the range or in the values of y. So we need to remember that. And then we also tackled the different presentations of relation and functions. We have here the ordered pairs, the table of values, the mapping, the equations, and in the graph. We could easily identify which is a relation and which is a function based on these presentations. So right now, let us look at this figure. It's like a machine. We have here the input, and we have here the output, and then the machine itself, it pertains to a function. What does it mean? Always remember that a function has a symbol, generically, is f of x. Kung paano ko binasa kanina, it is read as f of x. Wherein, we should also remember that this f of x is also equivalent with the y. Because the y here represents the output, and then the values of x here represents the input. Ano po ang ibig sabihin nun in our real life? Let's say that we have this example of baking. So we prepared so much for the batter for the cookies. So that is our input. Now the function represents the machine or the oven. So nasa loob na ngayon, pinasok na natin yung batter ng cookies. So that is our function. Then syempre, after a few minutes, once it is already baked, yan na yung output natin. Yan na yung y. So that is function in our lives. So that is the process of evaluating a function. We have the value of x that we need to substitute in the function in order for us to get the value of y. So in our modules or in some of the books, these outputs are what we call the function values. So let us try. Evaluate the function f of x is equal to x squared minus 1 if, letter A, we have f of 5, and letter B, f of negative 1. So let us try first f of 5. So the 5 here represents the value of x. So this is the value of x. So copying the function, we have here x squared minus 1. So we will just replace x by 5 kasi yun sabi f of 5. The function where x is equal to 5. So magiging 5 squared minus 1. So ganun lang siya. And then simplify mo lang 5 squared, that is 5 times 5, which is 25, and then minus 1. The answer here is 24. So f of 5 has a value of 24. As simple as that. Clear? Let's try another one. We have here f of negative 1. It only means that negative 1 is the value of x. So like what we've done a while ago, let us start with copying the function. So para hindi tayo nalilito. Okay? So magiging lahat ng x, papalitan natin ngayon ng negative 1. Replace it by negative 1, then squared minus 1. So x lang ang pinapalitan, but the form itself of the function, hindi dapat. So as is pa rin yun. Then simplifying it, we will have negative 1 squared, which is negative 1 times negative 1. The answer there is 1. And then bring down yung remaining natin, negative 1. So 1 minus 1, the answer here is 0. And that's okay. So, huwag kakabahan pagka nakakuha ng sagot na 0. It's okay. Ganun talaga, hindi naman laging whole number, positive or negative, minsan nga fraction pa yun or decimal. So, if the value of x is -1 or the function of -1, its value is 0. Okay? I hope that's clear. Let's proceed to another one. Consider the following functions. We have here f of x is equal to 1 over 6 minus 1, and then g of x is equal to the absolute value of x cubed minus 2. Let's have first g of 0, which means, kasi hindi naman laging f lang. So, yung functions, generic kasi na ang pangalan niya is f. Okay? So, but you could also have different kinds of letters. So, by this case, kumbaga, in reality, we have different names. So, ganun din sa functions. So, dahil g of 0, gagamitin nating function, syempre, ay ang g. So, ano ba yung sa g? Itong absolute value of x cubed minus 2. Okay? So, again, the value of x here is 0. So, we will just replace all x by 0. And then, copy the remaining values. Then, we all know that 0 cubed, 0 times 0 times 0, that is 0. And then, minus 2. What is 0 minus 2? The answer there is -2. And once we say absolute value, distance from 0. So, kahit di ba yung 0 nasa gitna? Kahit saan man siya nanggaling, sa kaliwa o sa kanan, basta ilang units siya mula doon sa 0, yun ang ibig sabihin ng absolute value. Kaya, si absolute value, ginagawa siyang laging positive because we're talking about its distance from 0. Dahil distance, kaya ang sagot natin ay positive. So, coming from here, our g of 0 is equal to 2 because the absolute value of -2 is positive 2. Okay, let's have another one. F of -2. So, which means, ang gagamitin nating function ay si letter F. Kopyahin natin yung function. We will have 1 over 6x minus 1. Okay? So, replace x by -2. So, f of -2 is equal to 1 over 6 times -2 minus 1. Then, si 1, na numerator, wala na tayong magagawa dyan. So, let's just copy it. And then, 6 times -2, the answer here is -12. Then, minus 1. Okay? Then, simplify mo lang. So, what is -12 minus 1? So, 1 over, the answer here is -13. Okay? So, don't forget the rules of integers. So, our final answer here is f of -2 is equal to, pag ganyang may negative sa denominator, lagay mo lang siya either sa gitna or sa taas. Why? Pag sinimplify natin to, what is 1 divided by -13? The answer is -1 over 13. So, pwedeng nandito siya, 1 over 13. -1 over 13. So, this is our final answer. So, it's not always a whole number. So, pwedeng ibang form of numbers. Okay? So, next one. Let us have another example in evaluation of a function. The ordered pair -2, -13 belongs to which of the following functions? Letter A, f of x is equal to 7x plus 1. And letter B, f of x is equal to -7x minus 1. Let's get the key terms on the problem. Ordered pair. It gives us a hint that the first value here is x and the second value is y. And always remember that the value of x represents the input in a function and y is our output. What does it mean? Si -2 na value ng x, isa-substitute natin among all these functions. So, try natin. F of -2 is equal to 7 times negative 2 plus 1. Ganun din sa isa. F of x is equal to negative 7 times negative 2 minus 1. Now, what is our goal? Our goal here is to get negative 13. Alin sa dalawang functions ay makapagbibigay sa atin ng sagot na negative 13. So, let us try. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. And then plus 1, the answer here is negative 13. Let's try another one. Negative 7 times negative 2, the answer here is 14. Remember that negative times negative is a positive. And then minus 1. So 14 minus 1, the answer here is 13. Ulit, ang goal natin ay makakuha ng negative 13. So, ibig sabihin, nakuha natin yon sa letter A. So, which gives us that the final answer here is letter A. Now, let's have the piecewise function. How do we evaluate it? Always remember that this one is our domain. So, yan yung rules of the domain. So, dyan tayo titingin kung anong kukunin natin. Yan yung sinabi ko dun sa nakaraang video. Let's try h of negative 1. So, it only means the value of x here is negative 1. So, x is equal to negative 1. Alin siya dito sa tatlong domain? Siya ba ay x less than 2, x is equal to 2, o x greater than 2? Very good. Pasok siya dito sa x is less than 2. Okay, so ibig sabihin, ang kukunin nating function ay si x squared. So ngayon, h of negative 1, so magiging x squared. Okay? So ganun lang. Substitute mo si x na negative 1. So negative 1 squared, the answer right now is positive 1. Okay? Another one. Find h of, let's say, 5. Oh, ang x daw natin dito ay 5. Saan siya pasok dito sa domain? Okay? So, siya ay nandito sa may x is greater than 2. So, x is greater than 2. So, ibig sabihin, ang gagamitin natin ay itong pangalawa na, which is h of 5 is equal to 10 minus x. So, h of 5 is equal to 10 minus 5. What's the answer? The answer here is simple as 5. So, ganun gumamit ng piecewise function. And let's just say, ang hinahanap ngayon dyan ay h of 2. So, automatic ang sagot doon ay 6 kasi x is equal to 2. Okay? I hope that's clear. So, take note, to evaluate a function, we're just going to substitute the value of x as our input in order to find the value of the output f of x or the value of y. And in piecewise function, in order for us to evaluate it, always remember to determine the domain or the interval of the function where x belongs. Then, going back to the same process, we're going to substitute the value of x in the corresponding interval of a function. Remember that math may be difficult for most of us, but do not give up. Let us continue to practice and persevere. Mas isip ng mabuti, mas tanong pag hindi maunawaan, mas usap tayo. Maraming salamat.